When you're talking NASCAR lately, we have got situations for you. I'm Lauren Shehadi. What is going on? This is your NASCAR report from the off-the-track happenings to preparing for what has become just a huge weekend in the sport. We've got plenty to talk about, so let's not waste any time. We have our NASCAR expert, Pete Pistone, on hand to guide us through. Pete, welcome. Before we hit the track in Charlotte this weekend, let's catch up on some other news. And of course, you know where I'm going with this, the Jeremy Mayfield situation. Has there been any follow-up from Mayfield's camp on the suspension since it was handed down last weekend, Pete?
Well, there hasn't, outside of the fact that Jeremy is standing by his story, Lauren, that he mixed an over-the-counter drug with a prescription drug, and that's why the test came up positive. NASCAR's medical liaison is standing by their results, saying that they don't think that that could be the case. So we're really kind of in a holding pattern in terms of what Mayfield's next move is going to be. But again, he has been suspended, and NASCAR does not plan on rescinding that suspension anytime soon, although they did say they would sit down with Jeremy and talk to him if he was willing to go through the treatment plan that they've laid out for him. So there'll be something, I think, in the next week or so we're probably going to see develop a little bit more.
You know, Pete, what's the inside scoop? What's the word? What's been the response inside the NASCAR community on this story from other drivers, other team owners?
Well, every driver that I've talked to, every team owner I've heard speak pretty much stands by NASCAR. Everybody knew what the rules were. And even if this turned out to be a quote-unquote mistake, most of the drivers and team owners feel that it was Jeremy Mayfield's responsibility to relay his medical information to the medical liaison and the medical team that NASCAR has in place. I mean, Kevin Harvick and Tony Stewart have been very outspoken about the fact that they wanted to see NASCAR raise their substance abuse policy from the reasonable suspicion that they had last year. Greg Biffle, who actually hurt his ribs earlier this year when he messed up on a boat on a weekend that he had off and had to take some pain medication, said that when he went through it, he made sure he told NASCAR what he was taking. So I think everybody pretty much is behind the ruling and is happy that NASCAR has this zero-tolerance policy in place.
And you have to take responsibility for what you put in your body. We are in Charlotte, Pete, for the annual All-Star Weekend festivities leading up to Saturday night's 25th running of the Sprint All-Star Challenge. You know what, Pete, this has become a big deal, a big weekend. Are you surprised with how big it's grown?
You know, I am a little bit. You know, this thing started 25 years ago, and I didn't know if it would have any sticking power to it. But NASCAR and Lowe's Motor Speedway really deserves the credit, Lauren. In the 25 years of this event, 24 of them have been at Lowe's Motor Speedway in Charlotte, and they have just grown this into really a week-long activity. I mean, we've got all kinds of stuff going on in Charlotte this week. There's a pit crew competition. There's some concerts. There's a lot of fan interaction, and they've really kind of made this event what some of the other major sports leagues do with their All-Star race. And so I think it's a lot of fun. And, you know, next year when we have the Hall of Fame opening in Charlotte, I think this weekend's become even that much more bigger.
Sure. Talk to me about the format for the race. What's the exact format? Is there a way to pick a winner? Is it more difficult, Pete?
Yeah, it's really tough. You know, the format itself is 100 laps, but they break it into a 50-lap segment, then a break, a 20-lap segment, another break, then another 20-lap segment, but then you go for 10 laps at the end. There's $1 million on the line, so, you know, that's like putting a pork chop in front of a bunch of hungry dogs. You know that at the end there. And you can also get into this race through a fan vote. And last year, Casey Kane got voted in as the fan vote, and he became the first guy to go on and win the race. So it's really kind of wide open. And I think Jeff Gordon and Kyle Busch, this is kind of suited to their kind of style, but boy, you really got to be able to survive this thing. And always a lot of fun, a lot of fireworks on and off the track, so it should be a lot of fun Saturday night.
It should be fun. Plus, you've got concerts, you've got competitions. Are you really working, Pete?
You know, I've got to, have my little time down to stay in touch with the fans, and to know what's going on, Lauren. But then it's back to work, from nose to the grindstone on Saturday night.
That's right. It is a tough duty. Thanks, Pete.
See you, Lauren.
For Pete Pistone, I'm Lauren Shehadi. We'll talk real soon.